And once again, we're back here at Lucas Oil Speedway with the General Tire Pro Pulley Nationals presented by Geico. Up next is the lightweight superstock tractor category. And once again, the point spread at the top, just 8 between first and second place.
This is an amazing class, and it's so full of action because these tractors only weigh 6,300 pounds, but they make a ton of horsepower. We're talking about 3,000 to 3,500 horsepower, so they can get a little upset easily. It's a lot of drivability that's needed to control these machines, and you've got to have them balanced perfectly with that perfect hitchhike if you want to win the class.
And, of course, this is the team that has dominated this category, winning the championship the last couple of years, as Mike Chizik has really amassed a great group of guys behind the wheel there. Terry Blackburn with a considered armed and dangerous machine.
It looks like he has a really hard time getting off the line, and so taking his time, scoots all the way to the right, brake brings it back to the left, and then having to use brake again, the sled really whipping behind him. And so for him to put up 3:11 and 44 with that particular run as the test puller, I'm going to guess he's going to turn this down here and really try to make another effort at it. As you can see him talking to Jackie Kometz, our official there. It looks like he's given the nod to go ahead and drop that hook.
Yeah, with all that brake action, I'm sure he feels like there's a lot left in it. So we'll find out how he does when he comes back a little bit deeper in the order now. And here's a look at your pulling order with Mike Wilhite. He's going to kick things off, and you'll see Mike a couple of times inside of this category and a couple of different machines along the way. Not uncommon for these guys. And the Blue Blazes machine, just an absolutely beautiful Ford. Boy, just a crazy run right there, 277 and 79, and it just sounded like it was up on the chip the entire time. Just did not get the combination where he wanted it.
And he's really been struggling with that. You know, after winning consecutive championships, he decided to build a new piece, and it hasn't been quite the runs that he's wanted out of this new piece yet.
Here's the points that we spoke of before, and you can see that Mike Chizik team doing an incredibly good job once again. But in second, third, and fourth, Brian Haug, the lone wolf, if you will, breaking that juggernaut here, and he's got to hang on through tonight. Colton Whitworth coming up here next, the Whitetail Properties machine. We'll find out what he has underneath the hood and if he can get that sled out there to the end. Leslie spoke with him earlier.
It's the sophomore season for Colton Whitworth and the Whitetail Properties machine, and this sophomore season is a little different. Still different tune-up on the tractor, and it seems to be really contrary off the line. So how is it different? How is it a little hard to handle?
Well, our fuel tune-up and turbos are completely different, and we're just trying to find a good match between to get everything, and then driving has a big part to do with it, with this new setup a lot, and it's just been challenging to get everything figured out, and just a big learning curve.
Yeah, so what are some of the things that you're trying to do on the line to help it hook up so it's not so wild and contrary for you?
Well, we've just been kind of trying to hold it back, maybe lay on the brakes a little bit and load the motor and just wait for it to hook up instead of bending the throttle over.
Just a little bit interesting to hear that driving style because he doesn't want to take any power away from it because he knows he's going to need it at the top end.
Playing off for a crazy ride there, was headed off to the left, brought it back to the right, the front end up and down, and it just gives you a really good indication of how much horsepower these things make. They're a wild ride for sure, especially combined with that lighter weight, and he put on a show for the fans.
Absolutely, and I'm just amazed at the split-second decisions that our drivers can make and how much brake pressure that they have to apply. You know, do they just need to give it a little touch? Do they really need to stab it hard to bring it back around? But they've also got to kind of flirt with disaster there because they've got to let it float to that line as far as they can because they don't want to take away that horsepower there and they don't want to really get the tractor upset.
Coming up next will be Elmer Haug, part of the Haug stables, if you will. Of course, It is Brian Haug who has a shot at this championship, but Elmer comes in here with a little temptation, 6th in the points.
And a great draw for the team with only one tractor between their two, so they're going to get a good reading on the track here.
When he goes for a crazy ride as well. You can see these things one-wheeling, and they'll bite on one side or the other and launch those things off to the opposite direction. 289.05, guarantee you that is just not what they're looking for. They want those nice smooth hooks, but it's just not coming to them. This dirt throwing them a curveball for sure.
It also seems as if they're piling a lot of dirt in front of the sled that they're having to tow. So usually here at Wheatland we have a nice, tight, compact track, and it looks like it's maybe a little looser than they're expecting.
Crystal clean looking John Deere here with Mike Navier behind the wheel. It's called Little Dominator. Oh boy. Man, is this thing throwing these guys for a ride? I mean, you see the frustration there. I mean, we're talking about a championship caliber driver right there, and this thing launched him off to the left so quickly he could not bring it back without going out of bounds.
Yeah, and this is his effort in the light category. He's got a couple heavy super stocks as well. Now, the bad thing here for our players in this championship is that we really haven't seen a clean run at all from anyone. So they're not getting a very good read on the track. Maybe a little bit of a read on how the whole shot is going to work out for them. But it looks like it's almost too much power here. And so I'm going to guess that the guys in the back here yet to go are going to take a look at their drawbars, and they're going to maybe think about making some changes there to give them a lot more drivability so they don't launch that front nose so early and get upset and out of control as easily.
Crazy stuff, but exciting to watch for us. There's a look at your top 3, and we are far from done here. Welcome back to Wheatland, Missouri, and the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Geico. It's championship time. That's right. The points leader's coming up here next. Brian Haug with a big temptation and has a shot at breaking up this Mike Chizik juggernaut, if you will, as they currently sit 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the points.
So Dale and Brian Haug share driving duties here on the Big Temptation, who has a lead coming in here this weekend. And Brian, what's it been like for you to share duties with your brother since the campaign has been so intense this year?
Oh, nothing out of the ordinary. We've just been doing what we've been doing for years past. We kind of look at the schedule at the beginning of the year, and whatever pull works out for one of us to go to is kind of what we go with, and kind of switch back and forth from what it was the year before. And this year we may have leaned a little bit towards who had the hotter hand the year before, and I don't know. It's worked out so far, so we'll just keep doing what we've been doing.
Well, Dale, Knoxville was a huge weekend for you guys as you came out of there 8 points up. And so what were some strategies that you used to gain that edge?
Just go back to our old notes, and like Brian said, there was a couple of events we switched around because really it probably was his turn to go to Knoxville, but I've been doing fairly well there. So he stayed at pulling at Springfield, which he come home with a win, which bumped us up there, got us up a little closer, and then I finished out at Springfield, and we'll just see what we can do tonight.
Well, yeah, and it is super intense. So what was it like in the shop this week getting ready?
No, just same old, nothing really out of the ordinary. Just kind of went over the tractors and gonna do what we've been doing.
Yeah, so they come in here with a head of steam, 3 consecutive podium finishes. We'll see if they can continue that streak on. As we just saw a couple of tractors ago, the team tractor did not have a good effort here. Oh man, one of the calmer runs that we'd seen right up till towards the very end, and something went away. 2:53 and 97. It sounded like he might have had a mechanical. He knows he just left the door wide open for this championship.
I thought this was going to be the tight, nice, clean run that we were going to have of the class. It was really going to set the bar for everyone. He finally gets it lined out. Look at that front end, 12 to 14 inches, just where you want it. He's heading towards that right sideline, though, so I wonder if he didn't pedal it a little bit to try to bring it back inbounds and then just couldn't get it to relight.
He was slingshotting from the left to the right, and everything looked good. And then right there, it made a big move to the right. And I don't disagree with you. I wonder if he was just forced to get out of the throttle versus going out of bounds and being disqualified. And boy, you can see the hurt and the frustration on his face. Those guys know that championship is laying right there. And now they've just opened up the door for one of the most dominant teams in this series inside of this category.
Here comes one of the players from that team. It'll be Josh Blackburn on the Armed and Dangerous Deadly Force.
This tractor currently back to fourth in the points, but that helps the team. This is exactly what they need, is a read on this track so that when they come out here with the Armed and Dangerous Excessive Force, which is currently second in the points, they'll have their best effort. And a pretty solid move right here at 302.
He's got it lined out within the first 100 feet once he passes that flagman. It gets a little wobbly towards the end, but you can see as he passes that leader cone, he's fist pumping. I'm not sure if he's doing that because he knows it's a good run or because he knows he's got the setup figured out, because the tractors, they told me, are all set up in the shop, and then they make small changes to the hitch and the tire pressure to get it to hook up to the track. And so I think that was a big win for the team.
And let us not forget that Terry Blackburn came out here with a considered Armed and Dangerous machine and went 311 and 44 and dropped it. All right, here's our General Tire flashback to Wheatland, Missouri a year ago.
Just another wild ride. This time it's Scott Whitworth, the Farm and Ranch Hand Services machine, and it takes him for a wild ride. He's got those front tires turned as it touches down, all that flex in the chassis, and it just shows the power that these machines have and just how volatile they can be and how hard to control they are.
Yeah, knocked himself in the noggin in there, as you can see, but he was A-okay, and he is back to fight once again to see if he can rebound and turn in a much better effort here this year.
Yeah, he said it hurt his pride more than the tractor, maybe.
And he will struggle here just a bit as well, as he'll end up at 231 and 76.
Yeah, he was pedaling it on the brakes early on in that run to try to keep it under control. Looked like he slipped the clutch out pretty far trying to get that good hole shot that these guys are looking for to get those big wide rear tires hooked up.
So here is the story. Here comes Terry Blackburn with the Excessive Force machine. He needs to have a number good enough to put 4 tractors between himself and Haug.
So Terry Blackburn finds himself a bit behind the 8 ball here coming in, 8 points down. You've pretty much been leading all season. And so with this later hook in the night after the Haugs, you know, how is that going to play into your plan and strategy on how you hook tonight?
Well, it's better to be later, then you can see, you know, the track evolving, what it's going to be. Hopefully that'll play into our hand and we can get a better balance. Light super stocks, all about balance, getting your power to the ground. And so hopefully it'll play out for us, but we got to have some help. We got other people got to get in between. So it's doable, but they definitely have the upper hand tonight.
You've had 3 poor passes in a row on this tractor, and so is that kind of something you've been thinking about during the week?
Yeah, I've been thinking there's got to be a good run in it. I mean, I've had 3 poor runs. I mean, why not tonight? That's what I'm hoping for.
Here's the deal. If he can surpass his team tractor that went 302 and 62, he will have exactly 4 tractors between himself and Haug. That would tie them in the points, and then the tiebreaker goes to Terry because he has 5 wins versus Haug's 1. And the best looking pass that we've seen so far tonight, for sure. And he's going to do exactly what he needed to do. 308 and 83. He takes over the lead. He puts 4 tractors between himself and the Big Temptation. And he is currently sitting in a position to win this championship yet again.
Really takes his time off the line and working those brakes. Just as soon as the tractor gets sideways, watching that cone to the side. And how about this? This is the first time that I've ever seen Terry really show any emotion like that on the track. You know, he's always very cool and calm and collected, but to lay down a pass like that when everybody has struggled all night, that's got to feel really good.
And, you know, and to see the frustration out of the Haugs as well. When you did your interview with them, how calm and collect those guys are. But don't think this passion doesn't burn deep to come in here. A lot of time, a lot of money spent. They want this really, really bad.
Roy Metz here with the Get Her Done machine.
Oh, and Metz also doing a great job at 302 and 69, but that makes it 5 tractors between the two of them. It is signed, sealed, and delivered now.
And, you know, this is the second year in a row where it's come down to the final hook of the year for our Light Superstock Championship. And unfortunately, the Haugs have been on the short end both years. It's going to be a long winter for that team.
What a great battle for this championship all season long, and we still have some great tractors to come. And welcome back to the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Geico here at Lucas Oil Speedway as we continue on with our lightweight superstock tractor category. Up next, once again, will be Scott Whitworth. Team Tractor went 231 and 76. He's trying to keep this one a little bit calmer, and he'll go a little bit further at 249 and 89.
You know, it just didn't really sound very healthy coming off the line and never really got up to that optimum sound and boost pressure that he was needing to get off the line and drag that heavy sled, because they really load the box on these light supers.
And that'll bring up Mike Wilhite once again, this time behind the wheel of the Burning Daylight machine. We saw him earlier on the Blue Blazes. By the way, this tractor fresh off of the podium just one hook ago. Boy, it looked like he got off to a great start there. It was nice and calm, going relatively straight, and it just ran out of steam. 264 and 18.
And that's what can happen sometimes when you make those adjustments, is that you try to really settle it down off the line, but then once you get that Optima Batteries box topping off on the sled, you need that extra horsepower that you've maybe taken away to get some of that control. And so it's really a fine line on your tuning to try to find all the right combinations of the variables that you've got out here to make it work.
New sheet metal there on the International for Glenn Long.
They are always experimenting with something. It's always interesting to see them come out.
Yeehaw, baby! Elbows up, front end is broke, gets out of the throttle, and finally hobbles that thing to a stop. 160.05 on an ugly run there.
Yeah, no shortage of horsepower, and because of runs like this is why you see some like safety skis, is what they call them, on the front of that tractor to try to help eliminate some of the damage that can sometimes happen out there when things get really violently out of control like that.
And this track has been a handful for this category tonight, and these guys are as good as they get, man. They just have not found the sweet spot just yet. Couple of tractors yet to go here. Bobby Jones coming up with a field sobriety machine. Great looking case. Comes in here 5th in the points. And by far the best looking effort we've seen all night long. Got after it right away, immediately hooked up the back tires, loaded them up, picked up the front end, and charged down to the other end. We've got a brand new leader right here, 312 and 39.
Just an awesome run here by Bobby Jones. You know, just 6 events ago before the pull at Wapakoneta, he really worked with Terry Blackburn to make some adjustments to his fuel setting to really try to get the tractor to run right. After that, he picked up a 2nd and a 3rd, and you know, he's always good for a win on the season. Last year, he picked it up at Rossville, Illinois. This year, he's hoping he can take it home from Wheatland, Missouri.
Exciting stuff for sure. Saving the best for last in this category. And we still have Terry Blackburn coming up next on the considered Armed and Dangerous machine. The fans have packed the grandstands here for the final hook of the 2019 season for the lightweight superstock tractor category here at the General Tire Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Geico. The last one to go, Terry Blackburn on the considered armed machine. Keep in mind, he went 3:11 and 44 as the first hook of the night and dropped it. That number would currently be sitting in second place had he kept it, but it won't matter, because just a few hooks ago on the excessive force machine, he secured the championship. So this one will be for fun. And it'll be a solid effort for sure at 3:04 and 64. And that'll wrap it up here for the lightweight superstock tractor category. Another great battle, and that Mike Chizik team doing what they needed to do. It took them right down to the last hook of the season to secure that championship. But 3 consecutive, boy, they have just been a dominating team. Here's a look at the final order. Congratulations to Bobby Jones and the field sobriety machine coming in here, picking up their first win of the 2019 season. Great effort for them, and that'll send them out on a high note. Let's go down to the podium, and we'll talk to Bobby Jones.
So the field sobriety tractor hit its stride about mid-season, and really just a feather in your cap here to take your first PPL win of the season here tonight.
Oh yes, it's incredible, especially to finish it out here. And we'd had a little trouble down in Knoxville, Tennessee this past weekend, and I was up at Terry and Josh Blackburn's up there Monday morning, worked on the tractor Monday night late. Tuesday night we finally got everything finished up. We'd put it on the dyno at about 6 o'clock, took it off at 2 a.m., had everything lined out. It was a rough week, and it finished good. It makes me feel great. The tractor ran the best it's run all season. You know, it just goes to show you that when we went, you know, I mean, Holly said, don't put it on the dyno, and then Terry and Josh talked me into it, and I'm telling you, it was well spent. And then Mark, you know, with K3 tires, and I also like to thank New Tech Seeds and Titan Wheel, and just my wife, my family, my friends. You know, it's just incredible.
Some good emotion out of Bobby Jones. Congratulations to him. That's a lot of work that paid off for sure here the last hook of the year. There's a look at the points. Brian Howe came in here with an 8-point lead. Will leave here with an 8-point deficit as he loses that championship once again to Terry Blackburn and the excessive force machine.
Well, Terry, you pulled out that good pass that you were looking for tonight, and by the skin of your teeth, second, third, and taking home the championship. Just a banner night for your team.
Oh, that's great. You know, everybody was trying so hard. We just, you know, trying the best to figure out that track. And I know the first run I made, the test hook, I turned it down. So I thought that isn't good enough. You know, we got to do better. But it ended up being a really good run, and we should have kept it. But I thought we dropped the last, and, you know, maybe we could figure something out, and if I needed to get in between. But, yeah, we got enough points. We got the championship, and that's what counts.
What does it mean to you to be a repeat champion, you know, with the Pro Pulling League in multiple categories here?
Oh, it just feels great. You know, the pullers out here are really tough, you know, the toughest in the country. You can come out and finish on top, you know, that's quite an achievement.
Well, congratulations. Another great season for you and your team.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'd like to thank Mike Chizik, the owner, all the guys behind me. Without them, you know, we couldn't do it. And, you know, that's one for the team right there.
Never miss a pull. Go to propulling.com/set reminder to add all of the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League airings to your personal calendar. Receive a calendar reminder minutes before each event airs.
It's always a great time coming here to Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri. You can keep up with all the action as we get ready to enter the 2020 season at propulling.com. We'd love to see you at one of our future events. For Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching all the action here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.